Good morning, everyone. So, taking forward from Mr. Amri's unaltered cyber drill when we take, uh, so taking that example, just how much involvement of third parties or like vendors will be there in such kind of exercise. So that is one area, third-party risk management, which I've been working for a while on this area, and it really interests me. Uh, so when we talk about different dimensions of cybersecurity management or IT risk management, we see that third-party risk management is an area where we put focus from more on regulatory perspective or compliance perspective. But what I have found in my experience that almost every practice of cybersecurity management or IT risk management somewhere converts into the third-party risk management area. And that's why I am focusing in my organization too much into this particular topic and trying to establish a comprehensive framework which can help us in appropriate management of IT risk management. So just to give heads up, what is third-party risk management as per from the theoretical definition perspective. So basically it is identification, assessment, remediation, and ongoing management of risk to the organization which is exposed due to receipt of goods and services. So inherently, it takes everything. Like we have the hardware from OEMs, or the services from SIs, or ongoing managed services, or any support which we take. Everything service we are taking for our business support, somewhere it is bringing some risk. Identification of such risk, assessment in timely manner, and ongoing management is a very critical for us, especially in service sector industry, BFSI, where we are consuming IT services. So one part where IT services are getting delivered by IT service providers, but when we are consuming IT services, this becomes a very important factor. And in this discussion, I wanted to just at high level talk about who, what, where, whom, why, how of the TPRM thing, to just give you a high level information. So this is a framework I found, and this is a single picture, I will say image, which gives a comprehensive information about TPRM. So if you see, we have some business objectives to achieve, for which we engage into third parties. Then there are different type of third parties. Very beautifully, it is categorized here, like we have supplier, financial intermediaries, like payment gateways or some other companies to whom we connect. Then our different consultancies, contractors, outsourcing, and intra-group arrangements. Even within the group companies, mostly we have seen, we ignored the kind of control and checks which needs to be applied. But as per appropriate third-party risk management, they also should be considered within the same framework and governance level. Then third, the risk. What type of risk we have from third parties? Like operational risk, conduct risk, information risk, credit risk, reputational risk, legal risk. So these are the different type of risks. Sometimes we ignore it, or we are not able to estimate the amount of risk or the impact of risk appropriately. So these things we should always consider. Then the operating model components. So in the TPRM framework, there are different stages of governance, policies, then third-party life cycle process. These things, in the TPRM framework, it is beautifully established. And if we go through it and try to establish the same framework in our organization, in my opinion, it will help us a lot in both cybersecurity management and IT risk management. And overall, the TPRM framework, the management process which deals like first phase, plan and assess. Then second phase, selecting the third party. Then the contract and onboarding, the most important part. Then manage and monitor on continuous basis. And then termination of offboarding. So these are the different processes where the TPRM framework different, I will just, in next slide, I will present the different set of activities which we carry, and I would like to share with all of you. Again, almost the same thing which I spoke earlier. So definition of third party, what should be considered. Okay, then the different type of risk. Then the third point, very important, where I'm actually struggling, where to find the third parties. So when I did a bit of research, asset inventory, and as we heard in yesterday's one of the session, around 79% of the companies are not aware of the complete asset inventory. So if asset inventory is not known, the OEM supplier also might not be known, and the associated parties who is supporting those assets, right? So a big area of these third parties is unknown in organization, and discovery of such third parties And proper management for those third parties is very important in my view. Then point number 4 and 5, identification and assignment of appropriate PIC, like person in charge or the person who are responsible for managing those third parties. In many cases, we find, for example, business teams these days with cloud adoption, they go and engage with some SaaS providers. Like HR team will onboard some SaaS-based HR service, and IT team is not aware. So that type of third parties which come in organization, the assignment of the responsibility and accountability is very important. Then I will move to the last and final slide. So maybe it's not clearly visible here. So among the different steps of third-party risk management, when we have certain set of tasks to complete, what I wanted to just showcase, that there are different stakeholders who have the responsibility, accountability, RASI thing. And in my opinion, the departments who are onboarding, the business departments, have the highest degree of responsibility and accountability towards third-party risk management, which we have to consider in our process and policies appropriately and take it accordingly. So that is my view. So in this slide, there's 2 points. First, the department column you see, they have the most responsibilities and accountability. And third, the client onboarding. The client onboarding process, in my view, has to be centralized. If you see, there is one team or one point which has to be centralized and one responsibility. So that what happens with that, like one team or a group of people are aware of all the third parties which our organization is exposed to. This gives a comprehensive management and understanding. So this was my view, and I wanted to share my experience. Thanks a lot to all of you for my.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for Akhil Kumar. Thank you very much, Akhil.